The metal door opened with a soft hiss. Cold air flowed into the dark room. Inside, silence hung heavy. Only the faint sound of a weak breath could be heard. A small creature lay on a steel bed. Its body was thin, skin pale, and its black eyes stared at nothing. This was a baby of the Sarnid race. Most people believed the Sarnids had no feelings, no voice, and no real mind. That's why this child had been left here. A red light blinked above the bed. A voice echoed through the room. Robotic, cold. Subject Sarnid, 47. Failed emotional response. Brain scan, inactive. Termination scheduled. The child did not cry. It did not scream. It simply looked at the ceiling, breathing slowly. Alone. Suddenly, the robotic arm above the bed moved. A long needle came out, pointed down toward the baby's chest. That's when the door opened again. Soft footsteps walked into the room. "Hey." Woman stepped into the light. She wore a simple, gray medical coat. Her hair was tied back. Her face showed calm, but her eyes were burning with emotion. Her name was Sarah Lorne. She worked on this alien station as a trauma nurse. She had seen many injured aliens in her life. She had also seen children thrown away. Most of the galaxy accepted it, but she never could. Her hand raised. "Stop." The robot paused. Sarah looked down at the child. He was smaller than a normal baby. His eyes looked dead. But she felt something. Something the machines didn't. She stepped closer, placed her hand gently on the baby's chest, and whispered, "Not today." The robot repeated, "Termination protocol authorized." "Step away." Sarah pulled her ID badge from her neck and slammed it against the wall scanner. "Override code. Lawrence Savan." The red light turned yellow. The robot stopped moving. Sarah lifted the baby into her arms. He did not fight. He did not cry. But his eyes blinked. Just once, Sarah left the room, holding the child close. That moment changed everything. Sarah's room on the station was small, but clean. She closed the door behind her, locking it 3 times. She placed the child gently on a folded towel on the table. She checked his vitals, weak but alive. "Hey," she whispered, "you're safe now." The baby looked at her. No emotion, but he blinked again. She opened a warm pack of nutrient milk and slowly gave him drops through a soft tube. He drank. Sarah smiled. "That's it. Good job, little one." She had worked with many species. She had never held a Sarnid before. People said they were a mistake, a broken race, one that had been born without empathy or speech, as their homeworld had been destroyed in a war. No one wanted to take care of the survivors. So when this baby was born, the station's leaders gave up on him, like they had given up on so many before. But Sarah believed in something else. She believed no child should die without being given a chance. Days passed. Sarah kept the child hidden. She named him Kiri, a word from old Earth, meaning light. She fed him, cleaned him, talked to him. She played music. She showed him soft lights and shapes. She smiled at him every day. Kiri never smiled back. But one morning, she noticed something. When she sang softly to him, his eyes followed her face. He blinked faster. His fingers moved slightly. He was trying. Outside her room, the station grew busy. Alien ships came and went. Medical teams rushed through the halls. No one noticed what Sarah was hiding, but not everyone was blind. Officer Dren was a security officer, tall, with green skin and sharp silver eyes. He had always watched Sarah closely, did not trust humans much. One night he stood outside her room. He'd seen her enter with something under her coat. It's too small to be equipment. He scanned her room's heat signature. 2 bodies. One small grinned. Frowned inside. Sarah held Kiri in her arms. He was getting stronger. He still did not speak, but he made soft sounds. His hands reached toward her face sometimes. "Can you feel love, Kiri?" she asked. "Do you know what this is?" She gently pressed his hand to her chest. "This is my heart. It beats for you now." Kiri looked into her eyes. No one else saw it, but Sarah did. A tear rolled from his left eye. He was feeling something that night. Sarah sent a secret message to Earth. She used an old medical code, hiding her words in a data report. Human Foster Unit Report. Subject Kiri, Sarnid child. Showing signs of emotional response, possible empathy, request extraction to Earth. The message would take 2 days to reach. She had to keep Kiri safe until then. The next day, Officer Dren visited her room. "I need to scan your quarters," he said. "Why?" Sarah asked. "We had a report of unauthorized equipment." "Protocol," she forced a smile. "Sure, come in." Dren entered. He scanned the room with slow eyes. His device beeped, but Sarah had hidden Kiri in a medical pod lined with heat blockers. Still, Dren's nose twitched. He smelled something. Human milk. His eyes narrowed. He didn't find anything that day, but he would be back. Sarah knew time was running out. That night, Sarah held Kiri close. He was warm now. His eyes blinked slowly. His small hand gripped her finger. "You're not broken," she whispered. "You're beautiful." A soft sound escaped his lips. It was not a word. But it was not just noise either. Sarah gasped. "Did you just try to speak?" Kiri made the sound again. She laughed softly. Tears filled her eyes. "Good boy, you're learning." But then alert. Unauthorized life form detected. Room 1 to B. Medic unit. Sarah's heart stopped. They had found him. She moved fast. Grabbed Kiri. Packed 2 oxygen packs, a heat shield, and a tracker jammer. She ran toward the supply bay. Doors hissed open. Next, lights turned red. Sirens echoed through the hall. Dren was already moving. He saw her running and shouted, "Stop." Hand over the creature. Sarah didn't stop. She slid into the supply bay and locked the doors. She opened a vent tunnel used for cargo air recycling. She pushed Kiri inside a soft case with air supply and slid in after him. They moved through the narrow shaft. Hot air blew past them. Her knees scraped. Her heart pounded. She reached Dock 3, where a smuggler's ship was leaving. The pilot was a short, bearded human named Rizzo. "I need out," she said. "Got no room." "I'll pay. And I've got a child with me." Rizzo narrowed his eyes. "A Sarnid." Sarah nodded. He spat. "They ain't worth it." Sarah stood tall. Her voice was calm. "He's alive. He feels. He matters." Rizzo looked at the boy. Kiri blinked. Made a small noise. "Fine," Rizzo said. "1 trip, no questions." They boarded. The door closed. The station behind them grew smaller in the window. Kiri looked at Sarah for the first time. His lips moved. 1 word came out. "A." "Whisper, Ma." Sarah's hand shook. She pulled him close and cried. The smuggler ship shook as it left the alien station. Outside the window, stars moved fast. The engines roared low under the metal floor. Inside the small cargo room, Sarah sat with Kiri wrapped in a blanket. She kept him close, whispering soft words into his ear. His small hands held her coat. He was warm, safe for now, but the fear in her heart stayed. She had broken the law, taken a non-approved life form, risked her job, her freedom, her future. But when she looked at Kiri's face, all doubt disappeared. He had said "Ma." It was not loud, not clear, but it was real. And now, she had hoped the ship's captain Rizzo walked in, chewing something, "We're heading to the Dross Belt, not Earth," he said. Sarah nodded. "I know. I'll figure out the next step when we land." Still glanced at Kiri. Still. "Think that thing can feel?" Sarah raised an eyebrow. "That thing is a child. He cried. He spoke. He's alive in here." She pointed to her heart. Rizzo scoffed. "Emotions won't keep him alive." "No," she said, "but love might." The next few days were hard. The ship's gravity systems were weak. Sometimes they floated. Sometimes they fell. Sarah stayed in the storage bay, using spare blankets and a heating pad to keep Kiri warm. She talked to him every day. "Look at this, Kiri," she said, showing him pictures from her data tablet animals from Earth, rivers, forests, sky. One day you'll see all of this. Kiri watched, silent. His black eyes blinked slowly. He made soft humming sounds sometimes. Nothing clear, but Sarah listened. Every sound was a gift. She played music for him. Old Earth lullabies, like simple songs. One morning, as the music played, she saw it. Kiri smiled. It was small, just a tiny curve at the corner of his lips. But it was there. Sarah gasped. Did you just smile? Kiri's eyes moved toward her. His hand reached out. He touched her face. Tears rolled down Sarah's cheeks. You smiled. You really smiled. And for a moment, in that cold cargo room, the galaxy didn't feel so cruel, but peace didn't last. 3 days later, alarms rang across the ship. Warning, pirate vessel approaching. Weapons locked. Sarah jumped to her feet. She held Kiri tight. Rizzo came running. We've got a problem. Real one. We can't outfly them. They'll board us and hide us, Sarah said. Where? They scan everything. Sarah's mind raced. She remembered the hidden room below the engine used to smuggle illegal tech. Put us in the smuggler pit. Rizzo hesitated. It's hot down there, loud, not made for people. We'll survive, she said. Just do it. The pit was small, cramped. Metal walls burned with engine heat. Sarah held Kiri close. His skin was hot, his breath fast. She sang to him softly, trying to keep him calm. Above, the ship shook. Voices shouted, then a loud bang. Boots landed on metal. Pirates had boarded through the floor vents. Sarah heard them speaking. Where's the cargo? Nothing but scraps and one human. What about the scanner glitch? A second life form? Could be rats. Sarah stayed still, on a breath. But then something changed. She felt it. Kiri's body went still, his eyes wide open. He wasn't crying. He wasn't afraid. He was focusing. She felt a strange energy, like pressure in the air. Then came the voices above. Ugh, I feel dizzy. My head. What's happening? Silence. Sarah held her breath. Then, the sound of boots leaving. The door closing. Rizzo called from above. They're gone. Later, back in the cargo room, Rizzo stared at Kiri. What did that little guy do? He asked. I don't know, Sarah said softly, but I felt it. Something in the air. Like, he reached into their minds. He scared off armed pirates, Rizzo said. That's not normal. Sarah nodded. No, it's not. Rizzo leaned closer. You might be holding something powerful. No, she corrected him. I'm holding someone, and he's not a weapon. He's a child. The ship finally reached the Drossbelt, a lawless region full of traders, smugglers, and runaways. Sarah knew she had to act fast. She sent another message to Earth. Kiri developing fast. Emotional growth confirmed. Possible telepathic defense. Pirates fled. Request urgent pickup. She waited. No reply yet. She searched the market for safe passage to the next system. But someone was already watching her. A tall alien woman stood in the shadows. Pale skin, long black coat. Her name was Saren Val, and she worked for the Galactic Species Authority. She had been hunting Sarnid survivors for 10 years. She saw Sarah holding the child. Her eyes narrowed. That's not possible, she whispered. She tapped a device. Send a message to Rethkar Station. We found the stolen Sarnid. Back at the small inn, Sarah laid Kiri on the bed. He was tired, but happy. He made another small sound. This one was clearer. S.A. Her eyes widened. That's my name, she said. You're saying my name. Kiri smiled again. Then he laughed. A real laugh. Soft and short, but full of life. Sarah hugged him tight. You're learning so fast. He looked at her and said one more word. Safe. Sarah broke into tears. But outside, footsteps came closer, and danger was near again. Rain fell on the metal roofs of the spaceport. People moved fast through the dirty streets of the Drossbelt station. Traders yelled, engines roared. No one cared who lived or died here, but someone was watching. Sarah moved quickly through the crowd, holding Kiri close inside her coat. His head rested on her chest. His eyes were calm but alert. He could feel the danger now. Didn't understand it, but he knew it was near. Behind them, Sarenval followed. Her black coat flapped behind her. Her face was sharp. She carried a stun pistol at her side. Her mission was clear: recover the Sarnid child and return him to the station for termination. The Galactic Species Authority believed Sarnids were too dangerous, too broken. But Saren had seen Kiri's file. Something was different. Still, orders were orders. Sarah reached Dock 12. A rusted ship stood ready to fly. The pilot was a rough-looking man with one metal eye and long gray hair. His name was Tobin? "You're the human?" he asked. "Yes," Sarah said. "You got the message from Earth." "Yeah, your people paid well. You and the kid ride in the med bay out of Scanner's sight. No questions asked." Sarah nodded. "Let's go." Tobin helped them board and lock the doors. But just before the engine started, Saren arrived at the dock. She raised her badge. "Open this ship. Galactic order." Tobin frowned. "Not my problem," he muttered, and powered up the thrusters. Saren pulled out her pistol. She fired. The ship shook. Engine flared. Alarms screamed, but they launched. They were free for now. Inside the ship, Sarah sat in the med bay with Kiri on her lap. Blinking slowly. "You okay?" she asked. Kiri nodded. He had learned to nod. He had learned to speak simple words. He smiled more often now. But Sarah noticed something else too. Sometimes, when she was sad, Kiri touched her hand and she felt better. Sometimes, she was afraid, he closed his eyes and she felt calm. He wasn't just learning emotions. He was feeling hers. On the third day of travel, Tobin entered the med bay. "We're not safe yet," he said. "GSA drone is following us. They've sent a warrant for the kid." Sarah stood. "Can't go back. He'll be killed." "No," Tobin said. "That's why I'm taking you to the nearest Earth outpost. It's 5 days away. Will we make it?" Tobin looked out the window. If he can keep doing what he did with those pirates, maybe. Sarah turned to Kiri. "Can you feel the ship following us?" Kiri closed his eyes. After a moment, he whispered, "Yes." "Can you stop it?" He opened his eyes slowly. "I can try." At night, the ship shuddered. Warning lights flashed. The drone was close now, only minutes away. Tobin powered up. "Weapons? We can't outgun it." Sarah grabbed Kiri and held him close. "Just breathe." She whispered. Kiri closed his eyes. The lights in the ship flickered. The air felt heavy, like a storm was coming. Sarah could feel something strange in her head, a soft voice not her own. "I see it." Kiri was in the drone's mind. Then suddenly the drone turned away. Its engines died. Cured off course. Everyone stared at Kiri. Tobin blinked. "What did he do?" "He connected," Sarah said. "He made it stop." Later in the ship's main room, Tobin turned on the news. The GSA had sent out a galaxy-wide alert, wanted human fugitive and Sarnid creature, extremely dangerous. Mental powers confirmed, must be stopped. Sarah looked at Kiri. His power had saved them, but now the whole galaxy would come for him. That night, Kiri had a nightmare. He screamed in his sleep. His body shook. Sarah held him, whispering, "It's okay, you're safe." But then she saw something. Her mind filled with flashes, fire, metal, death. She saw the destroyed homeworld of the Sarnids, bombs falling, children crying. And then nothing. Kiri was showing her his memory. He had seen it, felt it. Somehow he remembered his peoples. And Sarah wiped her tears. "I won't let them hurt you again," she whispered. On the 4th day, the ship reached the edge of Earth space. A security satellite scanned them. "This is Earth's border control. State your purpose." Tobin answered, "Medical emergency. Foster case approved. Sending codes." There was a pause, then approved. "Proceed to Station New Hope." Sarah smiled. For the first time in days, they were almost safe. But then, an explosion rocked the ship. Another vessel had followed them. It wasn't GSA. It was something worse. A private hunter ship paid to kill. The hunter ship fired again. Tobin shouted. Been hit, shields down. Sarah ran to the medbay and grabbed Kiri. He was awake, his eyes glowing faint blue. She whispered, They're trying to stop us. Can you do it again? Kiri stood. He looked out the window. The hunter ship came closer. Then he placed his hand on the glass, and everything stopped. The stars seemed to freeze. Time slowed. Sarah couldn't move. Tobin froze mid-breath. Kiri stood alone in that silence. In his mind, he reached out to the other ship. Inside it, he found hate, rage, fear. He didn't fight it. He shared his own memory. The cold, the robotic voice, the needle. His mother's whisper, not today. The hunter screamed. In seconds, their ship turned and vanished into space. Time returned. Sarah blinked. What just happened? Kiri turned to her. I showed them. Me. The ship finally docked at Station New Hope, a human-run space station. Medical. Officers rushed to greet them. Sarah stepped out. Holding Kiriat, an Earth official looked at her and said, You must be Sarah Lorne. We've been waiting for you. Sarah smiled. This is Kiri, she said. He's not just a Sarnid. The officer nodded. We know. We've seen the messages. Earth wants to protect him. Kiri looked around. He saw children playing, humans laughing. Warm lights. He turned. To Sarah home? She nodded. Double quotes? Yes, Kiri. This is your new home. But even as they entered the station, Sarah knew the fight wasn't over. Kiri had powers no one fully understood, and somewhere in the galaxy, others were watching. Station New Hope was different from the cold metal halls of alien outposts. The walls were warm colors. The lights were soft. Children laughed in the halls. No one stared at Kiri with fear. No one called him a creature. Sarah walked through the main corridor with him in her arms. Kiri looked around, blinking slowly. His mind was quiet but alert. His body was small, but he walked stronger now. And every time she held his hand, he reached back. He wasn't afraid anymore. He felt safe. Earth scientists welcomed them to the Child Development Wing. They offered Sarah a clean room, job as Kiri's caretaker, and round-the-clock support. But Sarah didn't trust everything. She had seen what happened on alien stations. She knew that power often came with fear, and fear often brought control. Dr. Junan, older woman with kind and short white hair, ran the wing. She spoke to Sarah with care. You've done something amazing, she said. This child. He might be the key to understanding empathy between species. You saved a soul that no one believed had one. Sarah nodded. Saved me too. Kiri was placed in soft learning programs. He sat in circles with other children, some human, some alien. He watched quietly. And one day, during a music lesson, he sang. It wasn't in any known language. It was soft, strange, but beautiful. The room went silent. Even the teacher stopped moving. A child beside Kiri started to cry, but not from fear, from joy. He said, I saw my dog. He died last year, but I saw him again. Sarah watched from the window. Her heart beat faster. Kiri wasn't just learning emotions anymore. He was giving them that night. Sarah sat in her room. Kiri was asleep. She sipped tea, thinking about the future. Then something strange happened. She heard a voice, not from outside, not from the hall, from inside her mind. I missed you, Ma. She dropped the cup. It shattered. She looked at Kiri. He was still asleep, but his lips moved. He was speaking into her thoughts. Sarah stepped closer. She gently touched his hand. I had to tell you. The voice whispered again. I love you, Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She didn't understand how he did it. But she knew one thing. He wasn't just growing stronger. He was becoming something new. The next morning, scientists ran soft brain scans on Kiri. His mind lit up in ways no one had seen before, Dr. June said. We're seeing something beyond Sarnid biology. His brain has changed, evolved. possibly even unlock new senses. Sarah was worried. Will they try to take him from me? Dr. June smiled sadly. Some will want to. Sarah clenched her fists. Then they'll have to fight me. Far across the galaxy, on the main Galactic Species Authority ship, Sarenval stood before a council of leaders. They showed images of Kiri smiling, healing, speaking. One counselor, a large green alien, growled. He's dangerous, another whispered. He's different. A mutation. No species should have this much power in a child. Saren didn't speak at first. Then she said, I saw him. He was just a baby. But I felt something I never thought possible. I felt his fear, his pain, his hope. The council looked at her in silence. You've grown weak, Saren, one said. No, she replied. I've seen the truth. But they didn't care. They voted. Decision. The child must be captured or destroyed. Back on Station New Hope, Sarah had a meeting with a man from Earth's diplomatic division. His name was Ambassador Wells. He wore a long black suit and spoke. Carefully, you've created something the galaxy has never seen, he said. Now everyone is watching. Some want to help. Others want to destroy. Sarah crossed her arms. He's just a child, Wells said. But to them, he's a weapon, or a miracle. We need to make a choice. Protect him. Or show the galaxy what he really is, Sarah asked. What do you mean? We want Kiri to speak. At the Galactic Forum. 1 week from now. Live transmission. Billions will watch. Sarah's heart dropped. He's not ready, she said. But Kiri stood in the doorway. I am, said. For the next few days, Kiri trained with Earth's best speakers and mentors. He learned how to speak in front of a camera, how to express feelings with words, but he didn't need much help. He already knew what he wanted to say. Sarah sat beside him every night. She read to him, sang to him, reminded him that he was not alone. You don't have to change the galaxy, she said. Just show them your heart. Kiri touched her cheek. I will show them, and yours too. The day of the Galactic Forum came. A huge room filled with thousands of alien leaders. Screens lit up across star systems. Billions of people. Human, alien. Sheen watched from every world. Sarah stood beside Kiri. He walked slowly to the center stage. He was small, but the room went silent. He looked up. Spoke softly, but clearly. I was left in a cold room. They said I had no mind, no heart. That I didn't belong. His voice echoed, but then someone picked me up. She said 2 words. Not today. Gasps were heard. Kiri continued. I am Sarnid. I am a child. I feel love. I feel sadness. I see your fear. He paused. But I don't hate you. I forgive you. Silence, then applause. Soft at first, then louder, then roaring, Sarah cried. She had never been prouder. But far away, in the shadows of space, a fleet began to move. A rebel force who believed emotions were weakness. They had one goal now, to silence the child who made the galaxy feel again. The speech changed everything across thousands of star systems. People were talking about Kiri, the Sarnid child who smiled, spoke, forgave. News screens replayed his words. I feel love. I forgive you. Some called him a miracle. Some called him a threat. Many called him impossible. But one thing was clear. No one could ignore him now. Back at Station New Hope, Sarah watched Kiri sleep. His hand gripped her shirt. Even in dreams, he held on to her. She whispered, You were amazing. But her smile faded when a soft knock came at the door. It was Ambassador Wells. His face was tense. We have a problem, he said. Sarah stood. What is it? The Galactic High Council has called for a full investigation. They want Kiri to stand trial. What? Sarah's voice rose. He's just a child. They say he could be the start of a new species, one that might affect millions. The Council believes the galaxy has a right to decide what happens next. Sarah shook her head. You mean they want to control him? Lock him up. Maybe worse. Wells looked down. They're afraid. And fear makes governments act fast. 2 days later, Sarah and Kiri stood before the Galactic High Court. The courtroom was huge. Dark walls. Tall seats filled with alien judges, law keepers, and politicians. Cameras floated in the air, broadcasting the trial live across the stars. Sarah held Kiri's hand. He was calm, but his fingers gripped tightly. He knew this wasn't just a talk. This was a fight. The lead judge, a tall, pale alien with glowing eyes, spoke. Kiri, child of the Sarnid race. You have shown signs of mental and emotional power beyond anything known. Today, this court will decide, are you a dangeror? A new hope? The first speaker was a military commander from the Threxian Empire. He stood tall and cold. This child invaded a pirate's mind, then controlled a drone. Now you want to say he's harmless? Happens when he grows stronger. When he controls armies, whole planets. The crowd murmured. Then came a scientist from the Orphan sector. We studied Sarnids for decades. They were born without empathy. This mutation is not a miracle, it's a mistake. It must be studied. Taken from this human woman. Blood boiled, but she waited. Next came Dr. June. She stood proud. I have worked with Kiri every day. He is gentle, he is kind. And his greatest power is not control. It is connection. The judge looked at Kiri. Do you wish to speak for yourself? Child. Kiri stepped forward. He stood alone in the middle of the court. He looked small, but his voice was clear. I don't want to control anyone. I want to feel. I want to learn. I want to live. Do you believe you are dangerous? I believe. Everyone is dangerous when they are afraid. But I am not afraid anymore, because my mother taught me love. The judges whispered among themselves. One asked, do you think you are more than Sarnid? Kiri nodded. I am not just Sarnid. I am not just a child. I am what happens when someone is loved. Sarah's turn came next. She stood before the court. Her voice trembled, but her words were strong. You left him to die in a cold room with no name, no warmth. You said he was broken, but he wasn't. He just needed someone to believe in him. She pointed at the council. You think you get to decide what he becomes? You didn't create him. You don't own him. Her eyes burned with tears. You gave up on him. I didn't. That's the only difference. The room went quiet. Then, the judge called for witnesses. That's when it happened. Children began entering the room, one by one. Human, alien, mixed species. They stood beside Kiri. A child with green skin said, he helped me sleep after nightmares. A girl with soft silver eyes said, he made me remember my mother's voice. A boy whispered, he showed me how to smile again. The judges stared in silence. So did the cameras. The galaxy was watching. Finally, the lead judge stood. This court has heard enough. The chamber grew still. After review, the child known as Kiri shall not be taken, locked, or controlled. Sarah gasped. The judge continued. He shall be given status as a sentient being with full rights. And Earth shall be his guardian. Cheers erupted across the courtroom. Sarah fell to her knees, crying. Kiri ran to her, hugged her tight. We did it, she whispered. But in the deep, dark space, not everyone celebrated. Inside a hidden warship, a masked alien watched the trial footage. His voice was full of hate. They gave rights to a freak. Another figure said, he will unite species, bring peace. The masked one slammed his fist. We are not meant to feel. We are meant to rule. Looked at the star map. Send the fleet. If the galaxy won't stop him, we will. The news spread fast across the stars. Kiri granted sentient rights. The child who forgave the galaxy Earth declared his guardian on human colonies and alien worlds. People gathered around screens, watching the small Sarnid child who had spoken. Of love, forgiveness, and hope. Some cried, some cheered, some whispered, maybe this is the beginning of something better. But not everyone felt hope on Station New Hope. Sarah and Kiri were moved to Earth's diplomatic center, a large, well-guarded space city orbiting a neutral planet. The rooms were big, the air smelled clean. There were gardens, learning centers, and hologram schools. Kiri was given a private tutor, his own room, and the freedom to play with other children. For the first time, he could be more than just a survivor. He could just be a kid. But Sarah noticed something changing. Kiri was still, kind, still soft-spoken. But his eyes were deeper now. His thoughts moved faster. Sometimes when he touched someone's hand, their pain vanished. He didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. Sometimes he would wake up in the middle of the night, whispering words from alien languages he had never heard. He was growing to something new. Dr. June arrived for a visit. She scanned Kiri quietly and turned to Sarah. His neural activity is beyond anything we've recorded. His mind is adapting at high speed, faster than humans, faster than any known species. Sarah frowned. Is he in danger? June looked serious. No, but the galaxy might be. That evening, Kiri visited a school on the station. Dozens of children gathered to hear him speak. He didn't talk like a leader. He didn't give speeches. He just answered their questions. Do you dream? One child asked. Yes, Kiri smiled. Sometimes of stars, sometimes of home. What do you want to be when you grow up? Another asked. I want to help. Others feel safe, he said. Then a small alien girl stood. She looked nervous. Can you make people feel what you feel? Kiri thought for a moment. He closed his eyes, then opened them slowly, and everyone in the room suddenly felt it. Peace, warm, gentle, safe. Some kids cried. Some laughed. The teacher fell to her knees, smiling through tears, and just like that, they all understood him. That night, Sarah sat beside him. You made them feel peace, she whispered. Kiri looked out the window at the stars. They don't hear each other, he said. I help them listen. Sarah nodded slowly. You're special, Kiri. But remember, you don't have to carry everything. He looked at her. I'm not carrying everything. Just everyone I touch, but far away. Someone was watching. Inside a black command ship, at the edge of a dead system, fleet waited. They were known as the Order of Silence, a rebel group that believed peace was weakness. Emotion was a disease. Kiri was the infection. Their leader, known only as Rovan, spoke with hate in his voice. That thing is changing people, he growled. We warned the galaxy.
Ow.
They didn't listen. He stood before his soldiers, humans, aliens, even machines, all trained to a race. Softness from the stars. Tomorrow, Rovan said, we strike. The next day, Station New Hope prepared for a celebration. 100 children gathered in the grand hall. Music played, lights danced across the walls. Leaders from Earth, Mars, and even the Orphan sector came to witness the child who united hearts. Sarah stood with Kiri holding his hand. You ready? She asked. Kiri smiled. Always. At exactly 14 o'clock hours, the lights blinked. For half a second, the station went dark. Then came the explosion. The sidewall shattered. Fire burst through the air. Screams, smoke. Sarah fell to the ground. Shielding Kiri with her body, alarms screamed through the station. Security ran in all directions, from the hole in the wall. Soldiers in black armor stormed the hall, weapons raised. The Order of Silence had arrived. One soldier pointed his gun at Kiri. Target acquired. Sarah stood up, bleeding from her forehead. Stay away from him. Soldier shoved her aside. Kiri didn't run. He walked forward, barefoot, small, calm. You don't have to do this, he said. The soldier froze. Kiri touched his arm, and suddenly the soldier dropped his gun. I see my daughter, he whispered. She used to smile like you. He collapsed, crying. The other soldiers stared. What is this? One said. He's in our minds. They raised their weapons. Kiri looked at all of them. He whispered. One word. Listen. A wave of energy passed through the room. Not fire, not heat, but memory. Each attacker saw pieces of Kiri's past. The cold room, Needle Sarah's hands holding him close. The song of hope in a dark place. One by one. The soldiers dropped to their knees, Some cried, some screamed. None could pull the trigger. Then Kiri fell. His nose bled. His eyes closed. Sarah caught him in her arms. Hours later, the station was secured. The Order's attackers were captured, but none of them fought back. Not anymore. They simply sat in silence. One whispered, "He showed me my own heart." Another said, "I didn't know I could feel that again." Sarah sat by Kiri's bed as he rested. Dr. June stood beside her. "You said he wanted to help people feel safe?" June whispered. Sarah nodded. "He did. But what did it cost him?" June asked. Sarah looked down at her sleeping son. She didn't know. But she knew one thing. They would never see him as just a child again. Kiri lay in the hospital room, eyes closed, heart steady. Machines beeped around him. Doctor said his body was fine. No injuries, no broken bones, no brain damage. But he wouldn't wake up. Sarah stayed by his side day and night. She held his hand. She sang to him. She whispered stories. Nothing worked. He just slept. But inside his mind, Kiri was very awake. He stood in a white space with no walls, no sky, no floor, only light. In front of him, 1,000 voices spoke. Soft, loud, happy, angry. Some were alien, some were human. Some were crying. All of them were. Kiri stood still. "What? Is this place?" he asked. The voices replied as one. "This is your mind. This is who you are becoming." Kiri looked around. "I don't want to be special. I just want to help." The voices whispered back. "You can help, but you must choose." "How?" Back in the real world, Sarah slept with her head on the bed beside him. Suddenly, Kira's eyes opened, slowly, calmly, and they glowed. Not just white, not just gold, but every color at once. He sat up. Doctors rushed in. Sarah gasped, holding him close. "You're awake," she said. Kiri smiled, his voice soft. "I found the rest of me." Kiri changed. He could now speak every language he heard. He could calm angry people just by touching their hands. Plants grew faster around him. Broken toys fixed themselves. He didn't just feel others' emotions anymore. He could share his own. When he hugged a sad child, they laughed. When he touched a fighter, they dropped their weapon and cried. Dr. June tested him again and again. "This is impossible," she whispered. Sarah didn't care about tests. She just saw her son becoming something beautiful one morning. A message arrived. It was from the Galactic Peace Union. An enemy fleet, the Dark Reach Alliance, had taken hostages. In orbit around the Orphan moon. They wanted Kiri. "Bring the child," the message said, "or we will destroy them all." They had already destroyed 2 ships. Everyone turned to Sarah. "We cannot give him to them," she said, but Kiri stepped forward. "I'll go." Sarah grabbed his hand. "No." He looked into her eyes. "Mom, I can't hide anymore. If I run now, others will die." Sarah's voice shook. "You're still a child." Kiri shook his head slowly. "No, I was a child. Before the cold room, before they gave up on me, before you saved me." He touched her cheek gently. "You whispered, 'Not today. Now it's my turn.'" The Galactic Council refused to allow it. "No human child can go alone," they said. So Kiri made a deal. "I won't go alone," he said. "I'll bring all of them." No one understood what he meant. But the next day, on the bridge of a peace ship, Kiri stood with every child he had touched. Dozens, human, alien, hybrid, each with glowing eyes like his. Each able to calm, speak, or feel like he did. They were called the Awakened. When the peace ship reached the Orphan moon, the enemy fleet locked on. "We will not be changed." The enemy leader shouted on the coms. "We will not feel. We will not listen." Kiri stepped forward to the screen. "You don't have to feel," he said. "You only have to let go." The enemy laughed, but Kiri raised his hands. And together, the awakened children beside him. They shared a memory across the stars. It was a simple moment. A scared baby, alone in the dark. A human woman kneeling beside him. A whisper, "Not today." Every soldier on the enemy fleet saw it. They didn't know whose memory it was. They didn't understand why it made them cry, but it did. One ship powered down, then another, then the whole fleet. The commander stood silent, tears running down his face. I forgot what that felt like, he whispered. Then he gave the order, stand down. Back on Earth, the stars lit up with messages. Miracle at Orphan. The child who ended a war without a weapon. He awakened the next step in galactic life. Some feared him now, some worshipped him. But Curie only said one thing. At the press meeting, I don't want to be a god. I just want to be a son. And he ran into Sarah's arms. That night, Sarah sat with him under the stars. You stopped a war, she whispered. I helped them feel, he replied. She smiled and asked, do you feel tired? He nodded. She pulled him close. Then he whispered, one more thing before falling asleep. I'm not the only one. There'll be more. Everywhere. Sarah didn't know what he meant. But deep in her heart, she hoped he was right. The galaxy had changed. Borders still existed. Fights still happened. Some people still hated what they couldn't understand. But everywhere, something new had begun. In the small corners of space stations, in schools, in homes, people were asking questions they never asked before. What if we listened first? What if peace could come from a child? The awakened had spread out, not as rulers, not as gods, but as helpers. They worked in hospitals, they sat with orphans, they helped heal broken minds and angry hearts. And at the center of it all was one boy called Curie. Sarah now lived with him on Earth's Peace Sanctuary, a green planet built to protect the galaxy's most important peacemakers. Curie still played, still laughed, but he was growing fast, not just in size, but in spirit. He could now fly ships with his thoughts. He could speak to animals without words. He could send peace across thousands of minds at once, even in his sleep. But with every power came a new weight. One morning, Sarah found Curie sitting quietly near a pond. He looked sad. What's wrong? She asked. I feel them all, he said. The galaxy, the hate, the pain. It's always there now. Sarah knelt beside him. You don't have to fix everyone, Curie. He shook his head. Don't want to fix them. I just want them to stop hurting. Sarah wrapped her arms around him. You're still my boy, she whispered. Curie smiled. But his eyes stayed heavy that week. The Galactic Peace Union requested something bold. A broadcast live to the entire galaxy. They wanted Curie to speak. Not just as a symbol, but as a voice of something greater. Are you ready? Sarah asked. Curie stood straight, eyes glowing gently. I have to be. On the day of the broadcast, over 4 trillion beings tuned in, from insectoid hives in the mist clusters, to water worlds where speech was vibration, to warships on the edge of space. Every screen lit up. Curie appeared, no suit, no crown, no soldiers, just a small boy with soft brown skin, glowing eyes, and a calm voice. He didn't shout, he didn't beg, he simply said, when I was born, my people threw me away. They said I was broken. But a human mother whispered, not today. She didn't ask what species I was. She didn't care where I came from. She just saw someone who needed love. And because of that, I found my voice. I found my gift. Now, I give it to you. Then he closed his eyes. A soft light filled the air around him, not blinding, not loud, just warm, and across the galaxy, people felt it. A mother remembering her child. A soldier dropping his weapon. A lonely child no longer afraid. No words, just understanding. For 30 seconds, the galaxy felt peace. Real peace. Not through politics or force, but through shared heart. Then the light faded. Curie opened his eyes and whispered, Hope wears small hands. Later that night, Sarah found him asleep. He looked peaceful, glowing, but a note lay beside his bed. In simple handwriting it read, I'm not gone, just going where I'm needed. Don't cry, Mom. You taught me how to be strong. Oh. The galaxy is big, and there are still children waiting in the cold. Sarah held the note close, tears running down her face, but she smiled because she knew. Kiri wasn't gone. He had become something more. Not a god, not a weapon, just a child with a heart, big enough for the stars. And in the corners of the galaxy, where the broken cried, where the angry shouted, where the lost hid in the dark, they all began to hear a whisper. Not today.